A few weeks ago we held the second official Brackeys Game Jam, a competition where you get 1 week to make a game from scratch. And we were so overwhelmed with how many people participated in the jam. Over 1,700 people joined and we got more than 300 submissions, which makes it not only twice as big as the first jam, but also the 5th biggest jam in itch history. So before we start going through the amazing entries, I just want to say a huge thanks to everyone who participated in the jam and helped make it a success. Over the past few days, we've been playing a bunch of submissions, and while all of them are awesome in their own way, there are a few that we would like to show in this video. So without further ado, let's have a look at my favorite games from the second Brackeys Game Jam. But first, this video is sponsored by Skillshare. Skillshare is an online learning community with more than 26,000 quality classes on game development, tech, and more. I highly suggest you check out this really cool course on how to make an RPG in GameMaker. GameMaker is a great tool to help you get started on making video games, and at the end of this course you will have worked with tile sets, made a fully functional player, enemies, chests, and much more. Skillshare is the perfect platform to keep learning and thriving, and a premium Skillshare membership gives you unlimited access to all classes for less than $10 a month. Join more than 7 million other creators by simply clicking the link in the description, and the first 500 people will receive their first 2 months for free. So the theme for the jam was Love is Blind, and I'm really impressed with how many unique games you guys were able to come up with based on this theme. Take for example the game Note to Self, which is about a person who is so in love that he has literally gone blind and you have to help him get safely to his destination. I think this game is cool because instead of controlling a character, you are manipulating the world around him. And also the menu and cutscenes are just amazing. Another example of guiding the player on his path to love is My Love is Blind. Here you have to guide your love home using your voice. Gameplay-wise, this works by moving the player in the direction of your mouse when clicking. However, it's not only the player that reacts to your voice, also enemies and platforms, which means that you suddenly have to plan out when and where to use it. The game combines that with some really great audio work and is just an overall fun experience. And talking about audio, Sightless is a game where you essentially use sound to reveal the world around you. Things like movement, shooting, and shouting will enhance your vision, but also attract enemies. It felt to me like a fusion of Superhot and the horror game Perception, which worked really well. The only thing I would change about this game is to make the levels a tiny bit less complicated and the jump puzzles easier, since I often found myself getting stuck. But after playing White Hearts, I was starting to think that it might just be my jumping skills that are subpar. This is a game by the same guy who made Last Gleam for the previous jam, and man, this one blew me away. The gameplay is fast-paced, the music is thrilling, and the graphics are as crazy as they are cool. And on the subject of crazy, have you ever wondered what would happen if you went zombie fishing with a brain as bait? I have, but I didn't think I would find the answer here. In the pied Fisherman of Hamelin, your task is to lead all the zombies out of the city. Your only friend? A fishing rod. I guess there's not much more to say about that. Now, one of the games that struck me the most is Heartbound. In this game, you help these two robots find love on their endless journey into the unknown. And I think that's exactly what the graphics in the game feel like. Endless. The way that the platforms fade into nothingness and the path that just keeps continuing smoothly from one level to the next makes the world feel large with very few elements. The game also begins with an incredibly simple yet effective tutorial. In fact, I think a lot of the games did a really good job on introducing the game to the player. Take for example the menu for Now I See. I think it does two things very well. First, it helps set the atmosphere of the game, but more importantly, it teaches the player the main mechanic before the game even starts. I really like this detail because menus are often quickly thrown together to just be a place where you configure settings, so it's nice to see this one working so well. So, if you've ever wondered what a guy madly in love looks like, just take a look at the character from Why Do You Love? I absolutely love this character, and the gameplay is super fun. A bit much blood for a love game, but to be honest, the animations and sound effects are half the fun. And I think I was generally really impressed with the amount of work you guys were able to put into graphics and detail. The game For You I'll Become a Hero is a cyclic story-based platformer. And I just can't believe how much these two guys were able to do in a week's time. The game has tons of beautiful sprites, cutscenes, a menu, a very large level, a shop with cool items, and even a progression system. Pretty much the only thing for me that gave away that this was a jam game is the fact that the movement felt a bit clunky. But still, great job guys. Another game that really caught me off guard was Love Machine. First of all, the concept is extremely well done. The game is about a machine from outer space that tries to learn how to love, and by analyzing human behavior, it concludes that we, as a species, are incredibly fond of violence. Because of this, it starts killing Earthlings to improve its love or level of violence expertise. Now that's of course a good wordplay, but the best wordplay of the jam, and perhaps of all time, I give to you Significant Otter. Extremely cute. And also, followers. It's a super fun and very dangerous game. If you don't watch out, you might end up spending hours just trying to beat your high score. It reminds me a lot of Crossy Road, which I have spent so much time on back in the days. I really like the idea of getting more and more followers. The only problem was I didn't really understand exactly what they were good for, except serving as extra lives. Perhaps implement a bonus based on how many followers you cross the road with. Super fun game, and man did it feel awesome running through all the cars as ghosts. Now I am puzzled, pun intended, by how drawn in I was by the puzzle game Tunnel Vision. It is super innovative as you have to turn on and off your vision in order to get past the guards and safely reach your true love at the top of the tower. The graphics are what they are, but for some reason they kind of grew on me. If I were to change one thing, it would be the number of steps you are able to take while blind, since often you can take more steps than needed to complete the level. This would make the game harder and force the player to find the shortest possible path. And talking about paths, Love is Blind is the story of a princess trying to find the path transitions to her love before it's too late. It's as well written as it is drawn, and the atmosphere had me captivated from start till end. As a reviewer said, this one really captured the feeling of blindly stumbling around a dungeon. And talking about blindly stumbling around dungeons, this next game has exactly nothing to do with that. It does, however, have something to do with teamwork. All I See Is You is the only co-op game we decided to feature. It splits the screen into two, and the players are forced to guide each other through the level. What makes this amazing is that you have to completely rely on your partner's directions, since you're totally blind on your half of the screen. Actually, that is kind of like blindly stumbling around a dungeon. That transition just kind of wrote itself. #nice. HeartQuest is a throwback to old retro platformers, and I personally really enjoyed the aesthetic. What impressed me about this game was how varied the levels were. I'd been playing for a good while jumping around under this starry night sky, and then suddenly everything was underground and claustrophobic. Super cool. I also want to mention the game Make a Weird Heart. First of all, what? Second of all, yeah, that's pretty much the feeling I had when playing this game. The graphics and sounds are really cool, and for some reason, don't ask me why, I was quite amused when playing this one. It's a no rules, make what you want of it type of game. Another game I had a lot of fun with is Bulletheart. It's just a very solid bullet hell game. Clean graphics, snappy controls, and a mechanic that allows you to slow down the game, with the trade-off that you start to see less of the screen. Oh, and it's also frustratingly hard, but in the good way. And finally, we have The Last Thing She Saw. This is a game about a photon making it to someone's eyes while listening to her story. It's a simple and really solid platformer that was challenging but not too hard, and the story kept me engaged from start till end. And that's pretty much all the games we have time to cover in this video. Of course, there are so many amazing games that we haven't talked about, so I definitely encourage you to go play them yourself. There's of course a link to all of them in the description. Finally, I would just like to thank AquaXV, CodeMist, Job, Marco, Jillian, and the Dutch Magikarp for organizing this amazing event. Thanks to Lizardman for providing the art for the jam, and thanks to all of the participators for making it awesome. Also, don't forget to check out Skillshare. Simply click the link in the description, and the first 500 people will receive their first 2 months for free. On that, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks to all of the awesome Patreon supporters who donated in February, and special thanks to James P, Jack Dubert, Andrew Kalinko, John Shannon, Infinity PPR, Cyborg Mummy, Dennis Sullivan, Travis Dillon, Faisal Marify, Leo Lisette, Runin, Clinton Fenskewa, Chris, Mechanical Mind, Fang So Long, Carsten Surland, Gregory Pierce, Kill Sweeteski, Rob Farron, Tima Folderbach, Erasmus, and Naoki Iwasaki. You guys rock!